All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Black Bullion Show. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I want to talk about the Fed announcement, and I also want to talk about how prices have been reacting to that announcement. Now, as you can see on this chart, we are looking at silver today, and we're also going to be looking at some other assets, but let's start with silver. Silver's down 1.14%. Basically, at the start of 2 p.m., we started to see 2 p.m. Eastern time. We got this big red candlestick and we saw silver come down. And with gold, came down just a little bit more, but not as aggressively as we saw other assets, which I will point to in a moment. Now, the thing about this is that the dollar began to, relative to its competitors, began to rise aggressively as we saw the US 10-year Treasury note rise. That is important for what I'm going to say next, because there is an expectation for inflation in the future. In fact, Jerome Powell actually said that in his announcement. He stated that inflation is increasing higher than what he thought, and he stated that this would potentially push up the timeline for when he sees the Fed raising rates. Currently, they're leaving the federal funds rate at the 0 to 0.25% range. And one of my views on this is that they will have to leave it there, obviously for reasons that pertain to us in the United States, but they will also have to leave that there because the global economy, especially those who have debt denominated in US dollars, there is an uneven rate of recovery right now, as some countries are struggling with dealing with the, what we like to call here, the 2020 issue. Now, because of that, if they start to raise rates and raise the strength of the dollar in the short term, that would be devastating to a lot of these economies, especially in the developing world. So there's no way that they can raise that soon, as many people have been stating. So they've been saying, Jerome Powell is still in his mind looking at 2023 as being a time when we will start to see rates rise. What does that mean? That means for silver and for gold, we have a essentially 2-year runway for price growth. Because, as we know, as rates begin to rise and the dollar will start to react to the upside, that will have us react to the downside. So we have a 2-year runway essentially for price growth. Now, let's look at some of our competitors here for capital, meaning ARK Invest. Now, you guys know I've been kind of on Cathie Wood's case a little bit, but just like I said it last week, and I'm still saying it now. She basically was saying that inflation expectations were overblown. Perhaps the rotation out of high growth names was done. We're going to start seeing inflows again. And we start to see some minor inflows back on Friday and Monday. In my view, I saw that as short term. I saw that as there's no way, with all of the price increases that we've been seeing in inflation, there's no way that inflation expectations were overblown. And with Jerome Powell basically stating the same thing, we are starting to see ARK Invest fall. Now, it was at, and I'll show you guys. Let me go back on the past 5 days here, and you will see how high ARK Invest got from the inflows into where it is now. ARK Invest got close to almost $119 a share earlier this week to where it is now, basically towing the line into the 111 range. It dropped dramatically. That was for ARK Invest, the main ETF that Cathie Wood pushes, that she has. And you also have ARK Genomics, because genomics are really big nowadays. Same thing. It was close to around, it got up to close to $88. It's now at 83, and towing the line around that $82 level. And if you look at some of the ARK Invest names that are within this ETF, you have the names like Tesla, who dropped. I mean, Tesla was up close to in the mid-teens just a couple days ago. Teladoc was up in the mid to high 150s. Now it's at 148. Roku yesterday dropped 6%, and today it's down 3%. So guys, the high growth names will still have to deal with some pain, at least in the short term, as my view basically was. And I told you guys a couple weeks ago that I was shorting ARK Invest, and I didn't close my positions when the prices went up to 118. I kept it on because my view, I want my positions to reflect my view. And this is why I held strong on having my short position on ARK Invest. And currently, silver and gold. Silver basically is only down 0.99% relative to these other names, like ARK Invest down 2%. Gold is only down 1.26%. So in the face of all this, all of our tried and trues are reacting. You know, they're having a down day, but not as bad as other names. So guys, as we look forward to more inflation, and again, our timeline basically being sometime between now and 2023, when we will start to see prices correct when Powell raises rates. Things are looking pretty good in my view, being a silver and gold investor. So guys, let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Thanks again for watching. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe if you're new. It's Black Bullion for goldandsilvertoday.com.